Hi folks, and welcome back to the Storming Cellar. Today we're going to take a look at the venerable A-10 Thunderbolt II, or as it's affectionately known as the Warthog or Hog. So why has the U.S. Air Force tried to get rid of it since the fall of the Soviet Empire? Let's take a look at the video and I'll give you my thoughts as we go along.
In the 1960s, the Air Force decided it needed a dedicated and affordable ground attack aircraft capable of destroying armored vehicles and static positions in close support of friendly ground troops. The threat of a massive Soviet armored push into Western Europe necessitated an aircraft and weapon system that could engage and destroy main battle tanks and armored personnel carriers.
I remember we studied and trained for the Soviet threat throughout most of my career. The A-10 was originally designed to meet the threat of the Soviet tank forces pouring through the Fulda Gap into Western European NATO countries. But since that time, it's become so much more than just a tank killer.
Known for an ability to keep flying after taking multiple rounds of enemy machine gun fire, land and operate in rugged terrain, destroy groups of enemy fighters with a 30mm cannon, and unleash a wide arsenal of attack weapons, the A-10 is described by pilots as a flying tank in the sky, able to hover over ground war and provide life-saving close air support in high-threat combat environments.
As a squadron commander of the 42nd Airborne Command and Control Squadron flying the EC-130E Airborne Battlefield Command Control Center at Davis-Monthan Air Force Base, I worked closely with our three A-10 squadrons in the 355th Operations Group. The Hog is the most versatile aircraft in the U.S. military history. It delivers a plethora of the right ordnance on the right target at the right time.
During its first combat missions as part of Operation Desert Storm in 1991, the A-10 exceeded many expectations, destroying more than 900 Iraqi tanks, as well as a total 2,000 other military vehicles and 1,200 enemy artillery pieces. In one day alone, A-10s managed to destroy 23 Iraqi tanks.
As you can see, from its first time in the combat arena, the A-10 has proven itself as a lethal weapon on the battlefield. In light of the total destructive damage it's inflicted on the enemy, it sustained 7 total losses in several wars, and all but one pilot survived crashes from mostly surface-to-air missile hits.
The pilot of the A-10 is surrounded by multiple plates of titanium armor, designed to enable the aircraft to withstand small arms fire and keep flying its attack missions. The A-10 is not agile, nimble, fast, or quick. It's deliberate, measured, hefty, impactful, calculated, and sound. There's nothing flimsy or fragile about the way it's constructed or about the way that it flies.
As you can see, the A-10 is a flying tank. The Hog is designed to go low, slow, and be able to turn on a dime. Its rugged and durable airframe with its redundant systems and the titanium armor which protects the pilot from small arms fire makes it especially survivable in the combat environment.
It's an awesome testament to the aircraft, I think, that the same gun that we used to kill main battle tanks in 1991 is the same gun where we can shoot a single insurgent that's fleeing on a motorcycle or shooting at our guys from a tree line.
The A-10 is considered the soldier's aircraft. Its long loiter time over the battlefield gives soldiers on the ground not only a sigh of relief from its distinctive sound overhead, but has saved thousands of lives with its awesome combat capability.
When you look at the airplane from then to now, it's pretty amazing the different upgrades that we've gone through since then.
The A-10 is the only airframe ever that was built entirely for this mission.
Yo, come on, man. They're about to do a gun run. You need to get down. Let's go, buddy. Come on, man. 10 saving the day again, baby.
The A-10 saving the day again, baby. This is prevalent on today's battlefield where you need air support quickly, and it can eliminate the threat with the right ordnance close to the flot or the forward line of the own troops. Critical.
We do have this personal connection with the people that we so closely work with, the guy on the ground. We hear him getting scared.
Request immediate re-attack, same remarks, same restrictions from last hit, north 75 meters.
We hear him getting excited.
Here we go, that's it. Good hit, good hit, good hit. Dash 2, I need you in the same remarks, same restrictions.
When flying the ABCCC, we coordinated with the JFAC, or Joint Forward Air Controller, assigned to the Army on the ground, and could sense the urgency to get CAS, or close air support, there as quickly as possible. In any way possible, the A-10 was always our weapon of choice for support of troops on the ground. So what's the primary weapon the A-10 utilizes to support the troops on the ground and tank busting? The gun. The GAU-8 has 7 independent barrels with rotary locking bolts. It's powered by a pair of hydraulic motors, and in theory, it can shoot up to 3,900 depleted uranium and high explosive incendiary rounds per minute, which can cut through tank armor like a hot knife through butter. Each barrel fires 557 rounds per minute. Now, pilots normally don't like to fire but 1 or 2 second bursts to save both ammo and extend the barrel life on the gun. It's truly a gun with an airplane built around it. To complement the gun, however, the A-10 also carries over 16,000 pounds of external ordnance to include Mark 82s, Mark 84s, incendiary cluster bombs, combined effects munitions, mine dispensing munitions, AGM-65 Mavericks used on tanks, and AIM-9 Sidewinders for defense against other aircraft. Nothing can match it. Seriously.
The A-10 has proven itself time and again as being really a nightmare to the enemy. Just its mere presence alone is enough to keep the enemy at bay. And in that situation right there, again, just bringing those guys in quick and fast was enough to push the enemy away from our forces.
The ground troops that I work with, when they think close air support, they think A-10s. And I think the reason for that is they almost share the same mentality. If you were to say that there's a grunt in the sky, it'd be a hog pilot.
The A-10 pilot is considered a grunt in the sky to the soldiers. But not only is it perfect for CAS, but also combat search and rescue to sanitize the area of downed pilot for pickup, and of course interdiction by utilizing its myriad of weapons to take out targets like bridges and railways. So if you can do it all, then why get rid of it?
You will not pursue the elimination of the finest close air support weapons system in the world.
Senator, I will give you the facts of how many targets have been struck by which kind of platforms in Iraq and Syria over the last year.
Yes,
we'll provide those.
A significant number of them have been done by the A-10.
And more.
Is that true or false?
No, it's true. More have been
true.
Done. More
then
have
why
been.
would you want to retire the least expensive, most accurate close air support system? Enough said, General. Okay?
Okay, Chairman.
This is an older video, but this is something that every year, budget time, it comes along. But let's face it, the Air Force has never really considered the A-10 as a true fighter. They've tried to get rid of it since the mid-'80s. And when the U.S. Army suggested they would take the A-10 and its mission, the Air Force decided to backpedal in an effort to keep the Army out of the combat fixed-wing aircraft business. With the advent of the more expensive F-22 and now the F-35, it's become a cost issue to the Air Force. Can the F-35 do some of the missions of the A-10? Sure. But is the Air Force really willing to risk the $80 million F-35 during daylight, low-level missions in support of CAS and the CSAR when it could use the battle-hardened and proven $9 million A-10? The F-35 is just too complex, less durable, and can't carry the ordnance that the A-10 can. Also, the F-35 costs $32,000 an hour to operate compared to the $11,000 for the A-10. The Air Force says they have a replacement for the A-10, the AX, which will utilize stealth technology. But with all the ordnance hanging off its wings, I don't see the point. Again, the AX would have to get in low and slow for close air support and combat search and rescue. With less and less support from Congress on the military funding and the Air Force's reluctance to keep the A-10, I unfortunately don't see much hope for it in the future. And just as a parting thing, there is a shell, a 30 millimeter shell that fired from an A-10 and AC-130. Okay, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and share it with your friends to help grow the channel. I'd like to hear from you, so leave your comments in the section below. Until next time, make sure all of your takeoff and landings equal.